West look like?
Well, it's interesting because I teach a course in Toronto at Toronto Metropolitan University about drake in the weekend, and so you would frequently the lines that drake in the weekend, or pretty much everywhere, and any drake in the weekend aligned or affiliated artists pretty much make up my music festival. But outside of that, a lot of throwback, like Led Zeppelin, Prince, Michael Jackson. I get stuck in the 80s and 90s where I felt the music was a bit more like pure and authentic and genuine, so there's a lot of that.
Before people, generate their Spotify Wrapped and click share right away, what should they think about?
Yeah, they should be thinking about, I think, here's the thing, like their personal listening habits and behaviors, and I just don't think, on the one hand, it's cool to share different social media, Instagram, TikTok, what have you, but the world doesn't, necessarily need to know that BTS, Taylor Swift, ad nauseam 24/7. Like, do they need to know? Maybe not so much. I don't know. I think for artists it's great to share. Streaming their music and there's not streams, what have you. But outside of that, I don't know. It's catch-22.
Okay, good to know. Thanks, Dalton.
Hey, thanks a lot.
PR strategist, publicist, and former music journalist, Dalton Higgins.
And Darwell here with a look at your traffic. So let's see if we can update some folks. If you're heading out of the downtown core, a couple of collisions that you'll want to keep in mind, especially if you're trying to head south. So 109th Street, just past 99th Avenue, there's a collision there, and so that, as you can imagine, on 109th Street is bagging them up way up past Jasper Avenue and further north. So that is not a good one to be involved in right now, especially if you're trying to get south on 109th. If you're getting down, going down Bellamy Hill, just halfway down, just past 99th Avenue, there is a collision there that is backing things up into the downtown as well. So if you can jog over a little west and get to 103rd Street, that might get you down to 97th Avenue if you're taking that either east or west. And I should mention the eastbound 97th Avenue is backed up quite a ways too, and even just kind of looking at Scona Hill as folks try to head south there, it is just a lot of red on the traffic gap. So a lot of these collisions kind of just having a trickle-down effect on other roads and backing things up quite a ways. On the Henday, there are two collisions on the West Henday as you head south. One as you come off the Highway 16 turnoff, or the Yellowhead turnoff, and you head south, there's a collision there. And then a little further up as you get to the Highway 16A interchange, there is a collision there too. So West Henday is southbound is a spot you want to avoid this afternoon. And just a little further ahead from there, as you get to the southwest, you pass the bridge there on the Henday, and as you approach the Toilet exit, there's a semi, or at least there was, stalled or broken down in the middle lane. So stay left and right to get past that. Elsewhere, there is a collision eastbound Sherwood Park Freeway at 34th Street. That is backing things up quite a ways. Also, Stony Plain Road, just before 142nd Street eastbound, a collision reported there. Southbound on 82nd Street and eastbound at 144 Avenue. I've been talking about that for quite a bit this afternoon. There was a collision in that intersection, a multi-vehicle collision, so that is affecting southbound and eastbound traffic. And out of town in Minnestic, there was a collision there, multi-vehicle collision. Apparently reports of semis in the ditch, and so that was affecting both east and westbound traffic. That's about it's between here and the city in Tofield. That's where that collision is, in the southeast part of just outside of Edmonton. So as you can tell, a number of issues out there. One thing I can tell you, 98th Avenue and 75th Street, there was a stalled vehicle there for the longest time in the right lane. I just saw a tow truck harnessing it up, so that will be cleared out of there pretty shortly. There's also police nearby, emergency vehicles, so that is east of the intersection of 98th Avenue and 75th Street. So a lot going on out there. I see a lot of people with their headlights and brake lights on, so that is a good sign. And also a lot of people keeping a lot of space in between vehicles when they're stopped on the road. So if we can do that and make sure your lights are on and people can see you, I think that'll be a good thing to do for the remainder of the afternoon, which has been a busy one, and we're not even 2 hours in yet. So if you are on the roads and you see some trouble, pound 740, or if it's safe to text 587-336-2929, and there's the phone as I speak.
Thanks, Min. The holiday season is upon us, but this is not like other years, given rising prices, higher interest rates, and that fear of the looming recession potentially coming on. Bruce Ellery is our money columnist. He joins me now with strategies on how to keep the holiday wish lists and the bills in check. Hello.
Hi there.
So firstly, how are you feeling heading into this holiday shopping season?
Anxious that people who are already carrying debt are going to start 2023 with even more debt than before. So say, for example, last year, a family spent $1,000 on the holidays or $2,000 on the holidays, whatever amount it was, on gifts and travel and entertainment and food and all that stuff, and they were to just repeat that exact plan, they're going to spend more. $80 on $1,000, $160 on $2,000,
Wow.
given 8% inflation, right? So where's that $160 coming from? Is Santa bringing that? Are the three wise men bringing that with a box of myrrh? Is Buddy the Elf bringing the $160 on his narwhal? No, none of that is happening. So that $160 is going to sit on your credit card, and you're going to pay 20% interest on that until you get rid of it, which could be months away or longer.
So what can people do now before they get kind of too far down their gift list?
Think about how you want the holidays to go this year. And it's a great question, even if you just won the Lotto 649 and haven't sent me my portion yet, because it isn't just about the money. So think about gift giving and socializing and travel and downtime. What would you say worked well on the holidays last year and what didn't? And you can remind yourself of what you spent by going online and looking at your credit card statements for November and December of last year, or 2019 for that matter. Look to see when you actually eliminated any outstanding balance. If you still haven't achieved that, it's very clear that you need to do something differently this year.
And it's not just about us, the holidays, of course. It's about all the people that we might be buying gifts for, who might be buying gifts for us. So how do we get other people to also be financially responsible at this time of year?
Yeah, these are tough conversations to have, and it may be that you have to lay down some boundaries. So here's what the conversation can sound like. Hey, love the holidays, love seeing you. We really need to reduce our spending this year, so we want to talk to you about setting some priorities. And people come up with great solutions on this. I was talking to someone yesterday who eliminated all gifts within the family, pooled their money with their adult kids, and they bought tickets in a hospital home lottery. So the total dollar, much less than in prior years, and they're doing something for charity. If this conversation feels awkward, and it likely will, just blame me. You say, ugh, I was listening to that money guy on the CBC. He's so pushy, but he recommended we talk about the holidays. So here we are.
So are you a believer in setting up a shopping list ahead of time?
Yes, and it's more than just a gift list. It's an everything list, because there are so many expenses over and above gifts. Clothing. Do you want a new tacky sweater? Are you hosting? Because that's food and liquor and decor, including, right, the fresh tree if you have one. Travel and entertainment, it includes New Year's Eve, right? So maybe that's a cab, maybe it's babysitters, maybe it's a flight somewhere, or tickets to a show. Charity is a big line item for a lot of people, and then the gifts, the teachers, the host and hostess gifts. If you are one of those people who buys yourself a gift when you go shopping,
Maybe.
add that to the maybe. Just put a fake name on it, like Desiree. That's my friend Desiree, not Jessica, Desiree. Yeah, and then add an overage. Contractors add 10 to 20%. Add an overage. Add it all up, and you will not like the number. But now's the time when you look at how am I going to reduce the spending? Am I going to cut items off the list? Am I going to cut expenses in other areas of my life? Or am I going to increase my income to cover it, right? No matter what, you're going to have to pay those bills, right? And listen, I am a realist. I know that most people listen to me and they think, great advice. Not doing it. But maybe they will be a little bit more conscious, proactive, and intentional this year.
There are those buy now, pay later services, and it maybe could help people keep some stuff off of of their credit card. What exactly are you thinking about those?
I'm not a big fan because they still enable you to spend money that you may not have. And it feels it feels better. It's more convenient, helps you lower the interest costs, but it's still debt. Better than using buy now, pay later is not buy now, pay never. Because then you're saving 100% when you buy never. 100% because you didn't buy the thing.
You cannot beat that discount.
It's an amazing discount.
Now, the holidays can be pretty emotional. So when we think about how we can tie those emotions to our spending, what should we keep an eye out for?
Well, I made these points before, but I think it's important to make them again. Gifts aren't love. We have been working on eradicating that connection in the area of food. How about we do that around holiday shopping? And I know someone in your family is going to put a hex on me for saying that, but it's true. Second, change is scary. No gifts for the grandkids, scary. Having the conversation with someone about resetting expectations, scary. I get it. Do it anyway. Overspending, finally overspending. It's overspending. It's just easier to justify during the holidays because the children, because the charity, because those shoes are so gorgeous. Overspending is overspending. And the fundamental principle of personal finance is to live within your means. And inflation has made that even harder this year. But do it anyway.
And today on the show, we are asking people how or where they learned a hard money lesson. Is there somewhere in your life, Bruce, where you just, maybe it was a credit card bill you weren't expecting and you thought, oh my gosh, I got to pay this off?
I learned the lessons very young because allowance was not handed to me in cash. It was recorded in a ledger. So if I wanted to spend any of my allowance, I would need to ask my dad if he could go get the ledger. He would pull down that ledger. He would tell me my balance, and then he would say, how much would you like to withdraw?
Wow.
What would you like to withdraw it for? And he never judged me, but it layered in intentionality. So I am intentionally withdrawing $1, and I am going to the Max Milk variety store near my house, and I'm buying Fun Dip. That's what I'm doing. Great, okay. And so with my kid, that is a lesson that I try and pass on, is intentionality about spending.
And great thing to think about during the holidays. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bruce Sellery, CEO of the nonprofit credit counseling agency, Credit Canada. About 3 minutes to 5 o'clock now. Min, what's going on in traffic?
A number of things. So 2 collisions coming out of the downtown core, 109th Street, just past 99th Avenue. So that is backing things up quite a ways on 109th Street, Bellamy Hill, halfway down, just past 99th Ave. Also a collision there. 103rd Street looks like it would be a good option to get to and get down to 97th Avenue if that's where you need to go. And there's also something that we mentioned at the beginning of the cast, that collision involving a snowplow and a pickup truck just on the Yellowhead east of the city by the way station there as you're heading out of town. That has things backed up quite a ways for eastbound traffic. So a number of things causing trouble out there right now.
Thanks, Min. Tara has a local news headline for us.
Thanks, Jessica. Edmonton is dipping into its reserve funds to help the most vulnerable during these frigid winter months. I'll have more on that and other local news at 5:30.
Thanks so much. And Min, those frigid winter months. Frigid winter months. Wow, my mouth today.
Yeah, the weather.
Frozen.
It is cold. Yeah, -20 feels like -28 out there right now, and it'll be a -28 with a wind chill tonight as well. So stay warm.
The town of High Level is the backdrop of a new film. We're going to talk to the director and his lead actor, country musician Corb Lund. That's coming up in the next hour of Radioactive.
Do you have ideas on how CBC can become more accessible? Well, we want to hear from you. How can CBC become a barrier-free public broadcaster for people living with disabilities? We'd like to invite you to share your ideas with us by registering for our public consultations at cbc.radio-canada.ca/accessibility. With your help, we can make CBC more accessible for all.
I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight on The National.
It is approaching a national disaster.
Soaring rents, home ownership feeling out of reach.
And their words in the letter is, if you don't like it, take me to court.
Renters and landlords duke it out. Join us on Canada's Newscast tonight at 10:30 in Newfoundland on CBC and CBC June.
CBC News, The World This Hour. I'm Tom Harrington. Alberta's controversial Sovereignty Act is continuing to generate concern in Ottawa and the province. Premier Danielle Smith tabled the bill in the legislature late yesterday. But as Julia Wong reports, lots of questions remain.
The Sovereignty Act clearly puts Ottawa in the crosshairs, giving the province the right to ignore any federal law or regulation that the Alberta cabinet deems harmful to Alberta. But Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is responding calmly.
I'm not going to take anything off the table, but I'm also not looking for a fight. We want to continue to be there to deliver for Albertans.
In Alberta, the reaction has been stronger. Law professor Martin Olshinsky says the Alberta government seems to be giving itself the right to bypass the judicial system, where jurisdictional disputes between levels of governments are historically settled.
It essentially creates like a parallel court system, but one that's driven by partisan politics rather than by independent judges. And so that's a problem.
It would also put school boards, health authorities, and police forces between a rock and a hard place, forced to disobey one law or the other. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
Ontario's Auditor General says millions of COVID-19 vaccine doses have been wasted due to poor forecasting by the provincial government. Bonnie Lessig says over the first half of last year, 38% of the Ontario stockpile went unused and had to be thrown out. On average, she says, 9% of the province's vaccine allotment has been left to expire. That's more than 3.5 million doses. The latest release of census data shows Canada had the most educated workforce in 2021 out of all G7 countries. One factor bolstering the country's workforce is highly educated immigrants. But as Deanna Sumanak-Johnson reports, many are still overqualified for the jobs they're doing.
I was an Amazon driver, I was a pizza driver.
The story of people like Ayman Jabril and his wife, both doctors trained in Yemen, is still too common according to Statistics Canada. Over 1/4 of all immigrants with foreign degrees were working in jobs that require, at most, a high school diploma. Ayman Jabril and his wife passed all the exams needed to reevaluate their medical skill in Canada, but still can't get into residency programs.
I applied for more than 30 family medicine departments and internal medicine for training programs in all over the country.
It's an area Canada needs to work on, especially as shortages of trained professionals continue to adversely affect our healthcare system and other key sectors. But the rest of the picture StatsCan numbers reveal is mostly positive. 57% of Canadians of working age have post-secondary credentials. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
The United Nations will ask for 25% more money to fund humanitarian aid operations globally next year. UN Aid Chief Martin Griffiths says the situation is particularly bad in Somalia and neighboring Ethiopia. While experts are not quite ready to declare famine in Somalia, Griffiths says it's likely just a matter of time.
People are dying already of hunger and starvation, and they are moving, and as they move, they're selling their livestock. More than 3 million animals in Somalia.
Griffiths also says the UN is close to a deal to resume Russian ammonia exports through a Ukrainian pipeline. Ammonia is a key ingredient in fertilizer many African countries rely on. Christine McVie, one of the original members of the legendary British band Fleetwood Mac, has died. McVie wrote and sang some of the band's most recognizable tunes, such as this one, Everywhere. Her light, airy vocals were a signature sound, and McVie also released 3 solo albums. Band leader Mick Fleetwood posted a statement on Twitter saying, "Part of our heart has flown away today." A message on Fleetwood Mac's Twitter account says McVie passed away this morning following a short illness. Christine McVie was 79 years old. And that is your world this hour. For CBC News, I'm Tom Harrington.